I don't know if we talked about this or you brought this up when we were actually recording, or if you brought this up beforehand. But you brought up at some point hardware support on Linux, and I don't have any clue what VR hardware support is like on Linux. As I said, my experience with VR is very out of date. So you did mention there were issues, and I'm sure there's more issues than just the one you mentioned.
Oh yeah. For example, standalone. It's probably the in terms of Steam VR, the least supported um headset type. It's, because of all the hacks and the lack of the direct mode API. Monado is a little bit better, but it's basically both runtimes are kind of made for your wired HMD or head-mounted display because that's what basically it is. It's just a display with a few sensors to get poses from that point of view. And then you also got so basically for trackers, like full body trackers, um, you you have vibes, and you have slimes. Those are both both have very good support, unlike standalone headsets. And then you have face tracking, and that's where you hit problems because unlike the previous Vive stuff, because Vive is kind of like the accessory provider for VR, basically, you run into issues because they changed their approach. Instead of writing open VR drivers, they have this own little application that kind of communicates, and you have this their own little SDK, and it's only really works on Windows and kind of run into files. But luckily, there's solutions that can enough for this problem called iTrack VR or Babel, I think it's called, or Bubble. Those are open source face tracking solutions. And basically, they use cameras and AI, the good type of AI, not the bad type, like, you know, like your art AI, that, or your co-pilot that steals, your new code and stuff like that. Um, to basically um, take an image, a grayscale image, and build a expression model off of that image. So then you can, translate it onto a model, character, avatar, whatever you want to call it, in the VR space, and basically have lifelike expressions. And instead of gestures, which is what we currently most people use, which basically requires you pressing buttons on the controller to control how your expressions on your face, whether you smile or frown or angry or stuff like that. For your social VR applications like VR chat.
Yeah, especially if for those cases, being able to actually express what you're trying to express would make that like a much more immersive experience.
100%, yeah.
It is a just having gestures is it's better than nothing, right? Like it's better than just having a static face, but it's clearly like that was a stopgap that's not supposed to be the end goal. The end goal is like, you've probably seen all the massive improvements happening. I think the biggest improvements you can see, like without even being involved in the development of this stuff, if you want to just see what's happening in the world of face tracking, is go look at some like VTubers, right? Look at some of the people that have they have these models where it's like thanks to what Apple has done with their like face tracking stuff, things have gotten like really good in that space. But of course, like open source is all open source development always tends to lag behind things. When you're a multi-trillion-dollar company, you can spend a lot of money on getting things working perfectly in your proprietary solution.
Hmm.
Okay, so you did bring up VR chat before. You did say you wanted to like talk a bit about that. I don't know where you wanted to go with that really, but yeah, if there's anything you want to say there, feel free to bring that up.
Yeah, so as I said, VR chat is a social VR application
Mhm,
with a few major breakthroughs that
mhm,
have recently happened, like video player support.
mhm,
Um, and there's also a huge rave scene in VR chat, and that also recently got support. It needs a Windows protocol called RTSC, I think it's called, and basically, Proton didn't support it up until recently, but you do need like, I think, I think, um, I mean, Glorious Eagle made forget who exactly created it, but they created patches
mhm.
for in Wine and to add support for that, and
Mhm.
now you can enjoy your raves in VR chat, which you couldn't do before.
I've honestly never messed around with VR chat. Like I've seen like, YouTube videos of it and all that, but I've never used VR chat myself. It
Yeah,
does seem really cool. But also that involves me talking to people, and I talk too much to when I'm doing these videos, and when I'm not doing the videos, I kind of just want to chill. My social battery is very drained from talking all day.
yeah, I get with that. I get with that. I work in an industry where you talk to a lot of people, and
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you're just done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see, where can we go from here? Um, Actually, was there anything more you wanted to
Well,
say about like hardware support? Because I don't know if you were done with the
no,
topic.
that's basically, I would like to bring up projects that I think could use a little bit of help from the community.
Okay.
So there's Open Composite, which I previously
Yes, you did bring that up. Yes.
mentioned briefly. Basically, it is a translation layer that translates OpenVR application API calls
Mm-hmm.
to OpenXR application API calls.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to play OpenVR games like, excuse me, VR chat and on Monado, which is obviously only implements OpenXR.
Mm-hmm.
It's only maintained by one guy,
That
so
is the case with
you
so
know,
many really, really cool projects.
give him some love and support, you know. And it's still, I forget what's its project progress on the total OpenVR API,
Mhm.
but it recently has received skeletal hand model support, which some OpenVR applications need to run at all,
Mhm.
which, you know, it's kind of important. You want to support as many applications as possible.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and it also needs to translate, I think what's one of the problems I remember it having? I think it has problems with um, shut down and startup or something. I don't
Okay.
exactly remember actually.
Mhm.
go look at it. But if someone wants to, you know, figure that out and solve it, then I'm sure they'll be happy.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.